Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We're just gonna go ahead and start off this Torah portion this Shabbat, amazing Shabbat, which is the Torah portion of Pinhas. This, I believe, is one of the important Torah portions that we can ever see, especially when it comes to jealousy against idolatry, against immorality, against all the evil nature of this world. We have to understand how the Creator is set apart, is Kadosh, and He wants all of us to be set apart as well. Pinhas is this Torah portion. Pinhas show us how we can become triumph for the kingdom of Yahweh. So before we start, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, if you have not subscribed, please do so you can get the latest production that we're always working on. You have to understand that every week I'm always working on bringing the best productions that there is, so you can grow more in the spirit of Yahweh, more into the model of Yahweh, which is Mashiach. So we can pretty much, that's what this channel is all about, the Torah effects, the effects that it does in your body, in your mind and soul. So let's just go ahead and jump into this Torah portion. Once again, take notes, please, because it will help you big time in obtaining the most of this Torah portion. Pinhas starts off with this calamity that came to all of them, to all the, especially men. It was a plague that came about, and it was eradicating a whole lot of people because they had befall into idolatry / immorality. Number 41 of Torah portions, 25 verse 10 all the way to 30 verse 1. That's 5 chapters. Yahweh said to Moshe, Pinhas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon, of the Kohen, the priest, has turned away my wrath from the sons of Israel for being jealous as I am. So I did not destroy them in my own zeal. Therefore, says, I am giving him my covenant of shalom, making a covenant with him and his sons after him, that the office of Kohen will be theirs forever. And this is because he was jealous for the sake of the Almighty and made atonement for the son of Israel. It is very vital for us to understand why he did it. And he did it because he was jealous about the things that are set apart to Yahweh. Yahweh stated very, very clear that he hates idolatry. And that is exactly what happened to our forefathers. Let's backtrack a little bit. In the previous Torah portion, Balak, remember that Balak was one of the kings, the son of Sifor, the son of the bird, right? It happens to carry a metal bird that whispered all what was coming and so forth. But he wasn't as powerful as Bilam. Bilam happens to be one of the wizards / magicians, the same as Balak. Bilam was more powerful, and yet we see that this hire to destroy, because he was just a higher prophet. Many nations hire him to do his little work, and when it came to hire him, he couldn't put a curse into our fathers, because Yahweh already have blessed our fathers, has blessed and already been blessed. So one of the things that he did was utilizing immorality, and that's exactly what they did. Here in this Torah portion begins as how it ends, the previous Torah portion, Balak, it ends with a plague, and here it begins how became as a stopped plague, because Pinhas once again have to do something, had to make a executive decision at this particular time, and thus Yahweh bless him for that. this covenant that he did with the covenant Shalom was something that follows with our Mashiach. Now, 25 verse 1, Israel stayed in Shittim, and there the people began to commit fornication with the daughters of Moab. With Israel united with Baal Peor, the fury of Yahweh was kindled against Israel. Question: what was so dark, so obscure, that Yahweh had to eradicate these people, our forefathers? The fury befell on our fathers because of idolatry and immorality. But what exactly did they do? We have to understand those little practices so we can understand today's environment, today's lifestyles. And believe me, it's all connected. Now, Samat, which means to approach, to compose, to link, to girdle, to serve, to deviate. This word is where how they became attached to Baal Peor. Numbers 31 verse 16. Why are these the ones who, because of the counsel of Balaam, caused the sons of Israel to rebel, breaking fidelity with Yahweh in the incident of Beor? And the plague broke out within the congregation of Yahweh. This is exactly what happened to our fathers because, once again, two things: immorality and idolatry. These two goes hand in hand with the ritual of idolatry. And we have to understand this. Every time Yahweh speaks about idolatry, it always linked to sexuality, to immorality, to sin. Now, let me show you a few little things. Genesis 18 verse 9, for I have made myself known to him. To whom? To Abraham, our father Abraham. He may give commands to his children, to his household, after him, to keep the way of Yahweh, and to do what is tzedakah, what is righteous, and mishpat, and what is to be ordered. All this was given to our father Abraham to pass it on to every generation. But one of the things that attracts me is the word known to him. I made myself known to him. Why? How do he make himself known to him? Is by being intimate with our father Abraham, or rather, Father Abraham to make intimate with our father Yahweh. One of the things that we have to understand is that when we become intimate with our Father Yahweh is when you do prayer, when you execute Yahweh's commandments, Torah, when you study the Torah, when you do all these little things, you become more intimate how the mind of Yahweh works, how his character conveys in our lives. That's how you become very, very intimate. But if you don't do any of these things that I just mentioned, then you're not intimate with Yahweh. It's just simple as that. When somebody gets to know another person, you say, nice to meet you. Some people, they just seen this person. But do they know him? Do they know him well? Chances are they don't. They just seen that person. They seen how they act. They seen how they speak. They see how they carry themselves. But to know that person, you have to live with that person. You have to mingle with that person to know how the character is. And that's exactly what Yahweh did to our forefathers. The word to know is the word yada. Yod, de, ayin. This word means to open your eyes to your soul. Look at what it says here, 4 verse 1 of Genesis. Adam knew his wife Chava, who conceived. How did he knew her? By being intimate with her. The same word that Yahweh speaks about being intimate with Yahweh. But it's very important that this person who was intimate with another person who was an idolatress was intimate also with the demon, with the idol that he was worshiping. Do you understand the connection there? So in other words, you break the fidelity to Yahweh's commandments. You see that how everything's connected? Now let's continue. 25 verse 2, these women invited the people to the sacrifices of their Elohim, demons, idols, gods, where the people ate and bowed down to their Elohim, their demons. Do you see that? That's how they became intimate with them, with these demons, by doing and bowing down to them. Don't we just only bow down to Yahweh, our Creator? It is ridiculous to understand that for immorality, this happened. Question: do we have to go to the extent to bow down to a demon because of the immorality? We have to put this in perspective. Yahweh is Echad. Yahweh becomes first before anything else. We always need to remember this all the time, especially in this day and age. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 19, so what am I saying? That the food sacrificed to the Elohim gods, demons, have any meaning in themselves, or what the idol itself has any meaning? No, what I'm saying is that the things that the Goyim, the nations sacrifice, they sacrifice not to Yahweh, but to Elohim, demons. And I do not want you to share with the demons, with the Elohim. Very important statement. The Corinthians, Paul, Shaul speaks to them, and he speaks to them very clearly that you have to understand those times, that era was full of idolatry, especially in Corinth, in all these places in southern Asia. All these places were full of Greco-Roman deities that did sacrifice. They literally have temples for them. And they literally did this. They literally sacrificed, so many things, but they also offer food to them. So isn't it the time that we're living right now that they're doing the same thing? We just passed a major festival, Christmas, New Year's, days of the kings, right? All these are just pagan festivals. They had nothing to do with the Creator, nothing to do with the Mashiach. Verse 21, they cannot drink the cup of the master and the cup of Elohim, the demons. They cannot partake the food of our master and the food of Elohim. Do you see that? And that's exactly what's going on with this era, this secular world. They worship, they buy these foods thinking that it is something that it's harmless. It's only food. Yeah, but it was food intended to these deities. It had nothing to do with our Creator. We have to be very careful. Let's jump into Baal Peor. The etymology of Hebrew Baal Peor is the demon of the breach. It's demon, one of the 7 princes of hell, who helps people make discoveries, seduce people by suggestion, the ingenious inventions that they will make you rich. And exactly what's going on with this demon. If you see this demon here on the left side, you see he's sitting somewhere. He's sitting in his Oval Office, which happens to be the toilet, by the way. What was Baal Peor? Baal is a general term for Baal Peor demon that might have been local demon of Mount Peor, where the heresy began. There also an argument on Peor is connected with the Hebrew that refers to an opening of the mouth or intestines. Baal Peor, that means the Lord of the opening. The Talmudic tradition strongly indicates the cult of Baal Peor involves both public exposure of the excrement or feces. Baal Peor must be one of the kinds of excrements, demons, to whom both flatulence and feces will be sacrificed to cure intestines, because manure was used to help crop grow. Do you see this? All this has a lot to do with sacrifice. All this has a lot to do with idolatry, and that's exactly what they did. So we have to be very careful how they did and how they do things now. You might think that I'm making it up, and I will show you what it was. It will be again Ecclesiastes 1:9. The past repeats itself. The sexual fetish, one of the sexual fetish is the dispersion of the abbreviated scat or feces, referred to corpophilia, when a person is sexually aroused by fecal matter, either in the use of feces in various sexual acts, watching someone to defecate, or just watching the feces. Entire subcultures in sexuality are dedicated to the fetish. You see this? And this is exactly what's going on. It has been and is actually happening today. One of the things that we might or might not know is this practice. The osculum infamus is the name of the supposed ritual greeting the witches when meeting with the devil. The name means a shameful kiss, or the kiss of the embarrassment, since it implies kissing the anus of the devil is other mouth. This is by the witches, by the way. According to the folklore, to kiss allowed the devil to seduce women. You see this? Is exactly what they did and what's going on today with men when they want, I should say this, and let me pause here for a moment. When they want riches, when they want fame, when they want to be sell out, in other words, it's exactly what they do. And I will show you that is exactly what's happening right now. Now, this Baal Peor has another name, which is Baphomet. Baphomet, but let me show you first. This demon is when they kiss the demon's osculum infame, which is the shameful kiss, is where they have to go through this practice. And I'm talking about not just women, men especially. They have to kiss the anus of the demon in order for them to be famous, and as well as women. This Baphomet is exactly what majority of the famous male celebrities that you see today are forced to pay tribute to Baphomet. And I will show you, don't think I'm making it up, because it is real. This Baphomet this practice is being seen so long that you might think that we're making it up, and we're not. Baphomet is in every ritual that you see in the Grammys and in the Oscars, in all these Olympics rituals, openings that they do, even in concerts today, they show you this. But you have to understand how they do that. This Baphomet, which is part woman, part man, and I will show you next. Do you see this Baphomet? You see the female breasts right here? Do you see the male phallus here, the male organ here? And you see the breasts here? Exactly what's going on today with the transgenerism or transgens. You see that? Exactly what's happening today in this day and age. They want to force the kids, they want to force the young men to do this transition that are against the nature of Yahweh. I'm just showing you a few pictures so you can understand what I'm saying. They are forced to pay tribute to Baphomet because they themselves have kissed the Osculus infamous. They have kissed the anus of Baphomet, aka the devil. So once again, this goat, that's why every time you hear, oh, he's the goat, who do you think they're referring to? They're paying tribute to Baphomet, to the devil, Satan. Now, you see these famous people that you see here, the Kardashians, they're nothing but witches. That's why they're never going to see them with their apparently husbands, because they never marry. And that's the curse they have. They're witches. That's why they're always wearing black. So once again, all this that I'm bringing you for you to open your eyes that just as well as there is good, there is definitely evil. And we have to understand how we can catch their tricks because they've been doing it for a long, long time. Now, all this that I'm bringing to you is for you to understand that perhaps we may be misled for a long time. But in reality, we have to understand how all these generations, they've been doing it for a long time, to be honest with you. Okay? And let me show you real quick. Okay? Let me show you real quick. Ezekiel 20, verse 27 and 8. Therefore, Ben Adam, or son of man, speaks to the house of Israel, their northern kingdom, Ephraim. Tell them that Yahweh Almighty says, moreover, their fathers provoked me by transgressing yet another way. For thereafter I have brought them from them to the earth, which I have lifted up my hand on an oath to them. They saw that their tall and lifted trees in sacrifice to their gods, their Elohim, their demons. There they presented offerings to provoke my wrath, unleash their sweet aromas, and they there pour out drinks offerings. This is exactly what the northern kingdom did. This is exactly what our fathers did to provoke the anger of Yahweh Sebaot. And yet, we see more and more how our Father, our Creator, is making us understand something very crucial, to be honest with you. So, let me show you another thing. This is the maypole on the right side in Ireland, places like this in Europe. On the left side, it's South Korea. That's another park, but you see phallus there. Both of them are phallus. Both of them are in a form of Asherah, a pole. You see this pole, Ishtar or Asherah? That's another pole, but those are what they call it, the phallus or penises. Another sanctuary in Bangkok where you see the Ashtaroth and also phallus. That's a form of phallus. A Turkey, there's another one right here on the right side. All this is not made up. You can look at it. You can, now the internet is wide open. You can search for it. You will see that this is actually happening. Once again, brothers and sisters, it's something that we can pretty much see ourselves all the time. We can see pretty much ourselves how the Creator, show us all the time. It is so much to understand all this practice. No wonder why Yahweh was very angry, furious with our forefathers when they just keep falling into idolatry, to be rebellious against the Torah. We have to learn something in this day and age. We have to learn how to obey our Creator by loving our Creator. Mashiach says very clear, if you love me, keep my commandments. Loving our Creator is not about emotions. Yahweh doesn't really care about your emotions. He cares about your obedience. If you don't believe me, Mashiach said it very clear. If you love me, keep my commandments, which is based upon the obedience of Yahweh. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We'll see you next time. The Creator may bless you and keep you, and we'll see you again. Shabbat Shalom.
Give us a like. Thank you. We'll begin.